Seeing you here reminds me of Fallout's famous rule set special, because that's what I think you are, a rule set. No, I think you're special. Nintendo president Shuntaro Furukawa took to the company's Twitter account to casually say, "We will make an announcement about the successor to the Nintendo Switch within this fiscal year." For those of you that don't speak business, Nintendo's fiscal year runs from April to March, which means we'll be hearing something before April 2025. As for whether we'll hear something sooner rather than later, it's not looking great. Back in February, Furukawa said the existing Switch console will be Nintendo's main business heading into this fiscal year. On top of that, the second half of the tweet confirming the Switch 2 was dedicated to letting everyone know that the upcoming Nintendo Direct in June will not feature the new console. It will instead be dedicated to the Nintendo Switch software lineup for the latter half of 2024. That explains how casually they announced the Switch 2. Nintendo confirmed its existence just so people wouldn't be disappointed by their next YouTube video.
Please like and subscribe.
Xbox is shutting down 4 Bethesda studios, including Arcane Austin, which was responsible for Prey and unfortunately also made Redfall. With Arcane Austin's closure, Microsoft has announced the end of the development of Redfall, meaning the troubled title won't be receiving the improvements, updates, and character DLC that were promised to the game's victims. Purchasers. Anyone who purchased the Hero Pass will be able to receive a credit, though there is no information about what the credit even is. It could be something stupid like a credit towards buying another Bethesda game. Though if you're going to slap your customers across the face, you should at least do it for real. Then at least they're going to feel something. Todd Howard slapped me. Arcane Austin's sister studio, Arcane Lyon, is still kicking, with Lyon's studio head calling the closure a f***ing gut stab. Tango Gameworks was also shuttered after releasing BAFTA award winner sleeper hit rhythm action game Hi-Fi Rush. The same day Microsoft killed these studios, they launched a new special edition controller with the slogan, "Feel the burn today." That explains why Hi-Fi Rush didn't save Tango Gameworks. Microsoft must have hated the game because they just had such poor timing. Helldivers 2 faced massive backlash after Sony introduced an account linking requirement for PC players. Months after the game was released, the company announced that the PC players of Helldivers 2 will be required to link a PlayStation Network account in order to keep on playing. Apparently this was always the intention for the game, but Sony allowed the linking requirements to be temporarily optional due to the technical difficulties with the game's launch. That way gamers can know for sure that their inability to play is by design.
Brought to you by Sony.
Yeah, thank you, Sony. What Sony apparently didn't foresee were the consequences of their own actions. Not only was there a massive review bombing campaign on Steam, but also, since creating a PSN account is unsupported in many regions, Sony had to delist the game from over 100 countries on Steam. Fun fact, that's most of the countries. Many players were actually able to get refunds from Steam despite playing Helldivers 2 for far more than the 2-hour limit. Sony capitulated on Sunday, canceling the planned update in a brilliant demonstration of doing the absolute bare minimum. Thank you guys. Many people don't. The games community is now rallying to try and reverse the negative reviews out of respect for the developer Arrowhead Studios and maybe just to flex on Sony one more time.
For the boys.
Yes.
For democracy.
Meanwhile, you can flex on everyone thanks to our sponsor, dbrand. They are the brand if you want to give your device a fresh coat of paint, and by paint we mean a high quality sticker, because that's what they do. They sell stickers. Their new trippy Hydro Dip skins come in 5 different colorways and pair great with their grip case. Check them out at www.mybossisveryshort.com and use code GAMELINKED to get 10% off of your purchase. Quick Bits are like a box of chocolates. Unless you're lactose intolerant, then they're nothing alike.
Diarrhea not included.
The UK government has responded to a petition to stop publishers from killing online-only games. The response was cautious, warning consumers that there is no current legislation that requires companies to continue support for older software, and that a product that stops working long after purchase would only be illegal if it was contrary to the product's advertising. The petition is part of Ross Scott's Stop Killing Games campaign and currently has 18,000 signatures. If it reaches 100,000, it will be eligible for debate in British Parliament, which might mean that several hundred middle-aged British parliamentarians will have to learn what a Ubisoft is. MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV was hit by a DDoS attack on Monday, as evidenced by a post from the game's team and a collection of memes from the player base.
Gotta love those memes.
While this isn't the first time the game has been DDoSed, it appears to be the first time that a DDoS attack has affected players in all regions. The issue seems to be fixed now, which is bittersweet. On the one hand, gamers can play the game. On the other, that means we won't be getting any more of those memes. New details of the next Tomb Raider game have come out thanks to the leaker, the V-Scooper.
Who took a break from scooping bees.
They claim the game will be an open world title set in northern India, where Lara will be racing against a society of raiders who are inspired to raid tombs by Lara herself. This last point lines up with the leaks from 2 years ago that also claimed Lara would inspire a group of raiders, but those earlier leaks claimed that they would be helping Lara. Meanwhile, an even earlier leak was just water. Hotly anticipated indie roguelike Hades 2 entered early access on the Epic Games Store and Steam and hit over 100,000 concurrent players within 24 hours. Hades fans worried about spoiling the game by playing a not yet finished version should know that the content currently available resembles a relatively polished demo with full voice acting and well-developed combat. This is Supergiant Games' first direct sequel, both in terms of story and gameplay mechanics, but that doesn't mean you should expect essentially the same game. This is of course the same studio that had an award-winning high fantasy 3v3 basketball game.
But it was way less horny.
And developer Fika Productions has launched a crowdfunding campaign for Don't Kill Them All, a turn-based strategy and base building game about leading orcs into battle and towards self-actualization. They may be brutish monsters, but they still need to practice self-care.
Be a person?
Yes. The game is currently scheduled to launch in 2026, and the campaign has already met 30% of its $100,000 goal. The orcs don't just level up physically, but they also level up emotionally and discover new passions. Remember, Grug, you're not just a fearsome warrior, you're also a fearsome chef.
Me cook and worthy of love.
Exactly. And you're a fearsome audience that will no doubt have the bravery required to come back on Thursday for even more gaming news.
And shirts.
This one has a pocket.